Hi there, welcome to kneppyinvests. Today tends to be probably the most busiest day of the year, equal with 3 other days. And the reason it's one of the busiest days of the year for me personally, it is the last trading day during quarterly reporting season. And for some reason, most companies that are required to release their quarterly report, either Appendix 4C or 5B, want to wait to the last minute. And I expect about 400 companies to release their quarterly report just today. And I will take a look at all quarterly reports. So 400 quarterly reports I will have a look at. Most of them will be just glancery, maybe 1 or 2 seconds. There will be quite a few that I'll take a quicker or longer look, maybe a few minutes at least. And there might be a few, maybe 5 to 10, that actually go through the commentary. And sometimes a company will release about 10 to 20 pages of commentary. So in this video, because this is a busy day, I just thought I'll do something different. Instead of preparing and creating a video, I'll just do this ad hoc video where I'll just show you the process I go through today in tracking Appendix 4Cs and 5Bs and what I do with that information. So on the left-hand side, I have ComSec opened. I've also got Ticker, T-I-K-R, open because there's a possibility. One of the reasons I started an Excel spreadsheet, which is on the right-hand side here, which is me just tracking cash receipts for every company that releases an Appendix 4C from April 2013. So I started this process almost 10 years ago. For instance, there's a company here called HCT, Halista something, where I have tracked their Appendix 4Cs or their cash receipts going back to July 2013. They had cash receipts $1.3 million in that quarter and cash receipts in the most recent quarter, 2.1. So this company hasn't grown all that much over the past 10 years. So how do I start each of these days? Now, the first thing I always go to is announcement list page. And I do that through ComSec. So I don't go to the ASX website because I don't find how they display announcements good enough. And ComSec, how they display the announcements is good for me. I do like it. But it is a little bit more complicated than it should be to find all these Appendix 4Cs and 5Bs and lump them all together. So I'll just show you quickly how I do that. So this is the home page in ComSec. Now, even if you're not or don't use or don't trade through ComSec, you still can use a ComSec platform because I don't use ComSec or don't trade through ComSec anymore. So go to the quotes and research page, and this will take you to a market section. I don't care about the market, sectors, quotes, trading ideas, recommendations. I want the tool tab up on the right-hand side. And this will take you to a company-specific page. And on this page, you have interactive charting, company announcements, upcoming dividends, ETF screener. I only care about the company announcements. And this will take you to all the announcements released by the company in the last day, last week, or the current trading week. So the current trading week starts on the 31st of January, goes to the 4th of February, and this company has not released any announcements to date. But I'm not trying to find on an individual basis each announcement released by companies because this will take you forever to do. I want to see all the announcements released on the ASX today. So if you get rid of the Phoenix ticker code and press go, this will show you all trading announcements so far released today. And I'm recording this video at 8:14 local time, which is 9:14 Eastern Daylight Time. So far today, we've already had 321 announcements released. So you don't know, maybe you don't know if that's high or low. But I can tell you right now, that is quite high. If we go back last week, on the Monday, there were 510 announcements released during the whole day. And by the Friday, 789 announcements. But I don't care about the announcements because there are quite a few announcements here. For instance, Way to VAT released a notification regarding unquoted securities. I don't care about that sort of news flow from a company. I want to filter it down to those sort of announcements I care about. And most of the announcements I care about are market or price sensitive announcements, and you can filter that down to market sensitive announcements. And so far, we've had 241 price sensitive announcements released today. And you compare that to last week, on the Monday, there were only 184. By Friday, 424. And the reason we did see a spike in price-sensitive announcements last trading week was because Appendix 4Cs and 5Bs were being released a little bit more by companies. In fact, we can filter down market-sensitive announcements into different categories. For instance, Appendix 4Cs, we can filter it down to that. It's called Commitments Test Entity Quarterly Reports. Let's filter that down to that. And last Monday, there were 16 Appendix 4Cs released. On the Tuesday, 25. Wednesday, 0 because that was a public holiday. Thursday, there was 69. And then on the Friday, 112. So far today, with 44 minutes left to trading begins, 66 Appendix 4Cs have been released. I expect that to get up to almost 200 by the end of trading today, and maybe 15 to 20 will release their Appendix 4C before trading begins tomorrow on the 1st of February. Now, for Appendix 5Bs, a little bit different. That is quarterly cash flow reports seen down the bottom, and this is just mining companies releasing their Appendix 5Bs. The majority of these I don't really track. In fact, the majority of these I will just look at glancery just to see or make sure they don't have any cash receipts, because the majority of mining companies that do issue Appendix 5Bs are exploring companies without any cash flows. For instance, if you open up, I'll just pick one of these at random. We'll go to S Star Minerals Limited. And the reason I'm picking this is I think this is just a cash flow report, which should open up fairly quickly there. Straight away, no receipts on customers, spent $278,000 on administration, $505,000 on tenements. I will take a very glance look at that and then close it down. So I'm not that interested in mining companies. I will go through all these just to find that one mining company that has started operations that is now producing cash flow in their operations. So I want to go back to the Appendix 4Cs. And I'm going to show you what I do with these Appendix 4Cs using the spreadsheet on the right. Now, I already started this process with CV1, so what I'm going to do is just delete that. So it really started with Energy World Corporation. They were the first company to release the Appendix 4C this morning at 8 a.m., so that's over an hour ago. And I actually did have a look at that Appendix 4C before I started this video. Operational cash flow positive, 10 million. Cash receipts about 44 million. But I'll go to a company that I am keen on, and that is CV1. Now, I've been tracking this company since October 2015, and the cash receipts have been growing through time at a fairly consistent base. And the last 2 quarters, we saw cash receipts at 6.3 million and 6.1 million, and the company has been operational cash flow positive on a consistent basis. Now, before we open up this particular Appendix 4C, I do have expectations before I open up the quarterly report. So with CV1, I expected receipts to be maybe between 6.5 and 7 million. And this is assuming the company hasn't made any significant acquisition that has put some sort of ignition under the cash receipts, and you do sometimes see that. I did a video on this particular thing the other day on a company that has seen a significant growth in the cash receipts because of an acquisition. So this is assuming they haven't done any acquisitions that might unorganically increase the cash receipts in the past quarter. And if we do open up their Appendix 4C for this particular quarter, we see cash receipts up to $8.3 million, which did or does exceed my expectations. So I'm going to have a closer look at their commentary in regards to this quarter to see if any acquisitions helped to increase the cash receipts from last quarter. They're also operational cash flow positive by $1.2 million. What I also do is I have a little notebook on the side, and anytime I see a company I do think has a good quarterly report, I'll just put that company's code onto my notebook, and that will gives me an idea to do a video on this company. At this point in time, I have 4 columns of potential videos I'll do just off Appendix 4Cs that have so far been released, and that doesn't include Appendix 4Cs being released today. So let's go back to the list of Appendix 4Cs being released today. We'll go to the next company here, VR1. I do own VR1, Vection Technologies. I think this company has a significant future ahead of them. Now, if we go to VR1, so before we have a look at their quarter report, the last 2 quarters or last 3 quarters, we have seen a significant increase in cash receipts from 324,000 to 1 million to 2.8 million. I expect another significant increase in cash receipts potentially above $5 million possible, anything above $5 million. And if they are operational cash flow positive, I think this will be a very important and possible inflection point for this particular company. So let's have a look at Vection Technologies. And more than likely, for a lot of these Appendix 4Cs, will open up to potentially 5, 10, 20 pages of commentary. The longer it takes to open up, the more likely we're going to see a lot of commentary. And this is opening up. So took a long time. So there's a lot of commentary here. Typically, I don't look at this commentary. I go straight to the Appendix 4C. And this was a very good Appendix 4C for Vection Technologies. $8.2 million of receipts. Significant increase on the previous quarter. And more importantly, they were operational cash flow positive this particular quarter. This is maybe an inflection point for this company. There's been a lot of hype in Vection Technologies over the past about 3 or 4 months. We've seen share price rise a considerable amount and then fall because of the capital raising. So I would love to see how the market reacts to this particular quarterly report. And sometimes when I am interested to see how the market reacts, all I do is open up that company's page on ComSec, and we already see the indicative price is up 4.55%, and that's still with 38 minutes before opening. So that's the whole process I go through. And I'll go through every single Appendix 4C. It can take me a fair bit of time to do this, and by the end of today, I will be sick of going through all these reports. But over the next few weeks, next month, I will take a closer look at those particular Appendix 4Cs that I did like and needs further examination. Now let's go to ticker. Now, one of the reasons I started this spreadsheet on the right here is because there's been no website that has provided this sort of information. And there is potential, we'll use Vection Technologies. There is potential that ticker might be starting to do this because they do have a financial page here and they do have a quarterly section. Now this might just be for American companies because they do have a quarterly reporting season. We're on a half-yearly reporting season. And if we go have a look at Vection Technologies, and yeah, it's on a half-year basis. So even though it's broken down into quarter, you can see revenue. Actually, we might have to look at cash flows. Yeah, even the cash from operations is on a half-year basis. So even though I thought maybe ticker are transitioning to reporting Appendix 4Cs on the ASX, looks like they aren't doing that just yet. Looks like they might have the ability to do that in the future. And this is the reason I started doing this spreadsheet on the right just to track how companies are performing on a quarterly basis. So that's really all I have for this video today. If you do have any questions about my process, I'd love to hear your questions. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.